Well, the latest Associated Press survey of economists shows the U.S. economy is improving faster than even they expected. They predict unemployment will fall to 7.4% by the end of next year. But almost all agreed President Obama shouldn't get credit for it. Time to bring out the panel. Yu-Dee Chang is the chief trader and sole principal of ACE Investment Strategists. David Rare is a professor at George Washington University. And Susan Solovic is the CEO and co-founder of It'sYourBusiness.com. Yu-Dee, let's start with you.
Well, first of all, the economy should get better, right? When you throw $5 trillion of the money that you don't have at it, of course it will get better. But secondly, is the economy really getting better? Consumer confidence, that's a fast-changing number. But when you look at it, Jerry, believe it or not, the Bureau of Labor Statistics start keeping the employment numbers in 1947. So it has been 676 months now. Out of that, there's only 70 months unemployment rate is above 8%. Hey, President Obama owns more than half of that. 36 months, we have unemployment above 8%. Housing still not doing great. The economy, Jerry, I don't really think is doing much better.
Wow. Susan, what do you say?
Well, I agree. I don't think he should get credit because, first of all, these numbers, it's just a snapshot. It's not the full picture of what's going on in the economy, Jerry. If you look, first of all, that number doesn't include people who've just given up and aren't looking for jobs. It's not including the self-employed. Do you know that we lost 200,000 self-employed businesses last year? They don't get unemployment, and it doesn't count people who've just graduated who are just now going into the labor force. So the effective unemployment rate is still extremely high. And also, small businesses aren't hiring. Historically, small businesses have been responsible for the majority of net new jobs creation. Right. In February, NFIB is just announcing small businesses aren't hiring. And you know what? The number of small businesses saying that they will hire this year has dropped significantly. Does not bode well for the economy.
Let's get David in here. David, you know, we all know that the numbers aren't what they should be, and that they undercount the folks who don't have jobs, who maybe are, you know, just disappointed not looking for work. But what do you make of this? I mean, should the president get some credit? Because, I mean, the numbers have lifted somewhat.
Right. Well, the president, this is a referendum on the president's guidance on the economy. And when things get better, whether it's his fault or whether he gets the benefit or not, it goes to him. When things are bad, people blame the president. I think more importantly, we need to look at the economy and talk to the economists about September, early October. Most people make their voting decisions within the last 2 or 3 weeks of the election. There's going to be a lot of volatility in the markets and in the economy between now and then. And I think we have to come back to this a survey in September, October, and say, you know what? Here's how it benefits or doesn't benefit the president.
Well, I get, you know, the entire report card is not in. That's for sure. We've got a few more months to go. We got to talk about my favorite story here. The preschool teacher who forced her student to eat the school's chicken nuggets instead of her homemade lunch has been suspended indefinitely. Now, you remember the child who brought a turkey and cheese sandwich, a banana chips, and apple juice for home to eat over lunch. And for some reason, the teacher felt like chicken nuggets were a healthier option. Susan, what do you say?
Well, I feel really sorry for the teacher. First of all, there was an inspector there. She was a little bit intimidated. I think she just got nervous. She made a bad judgment call, but it was fairly innocuous. What I think is
innocuous?
Really,
Are you kidding me? I don't see that as innocuous at all.
So
people telling me how to serve my child's lunch?
Well,
I
agree. If it had been more than one time, this is a one-time thing. What I think is alarming is we spend more time worrying what those kids eat at school with the inspectors in there than they do about what they're learning at school.
Well,
and you know what? I used to take a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch. So, you know.
David, what do you say?
Well, I say shame on the North Carolina legislature for not immediately ending this law and regulation.
Well,
it's ridiculous that we're even spending time on this when, you know, to your earlier point, Jerry, we're not educating the kids of this country.
All right. That was Susan's point, which I thought was well taken. Yu-Dee, what do you say?
Well, that teaches North Carolina for turning blue in the last election, right? But think about this. If you were to implement some type of nutritional program, you know, it was a state inspector. At least I want a certified nutritionist making the inspection, right? And also replacing the sandwiches with what? With chicken nuggets. We're talking about some dead animal parts wrapped in fat. That's not the way to do it.
It's disgusting. It's gross. But are you going to pay for that nutritionist, or am I going to pay for that nutritionist? I don't want to pay. I don't want to hire the nutritionist.
That's exactly
if Mom packs it, it's good for me. All right. One Michigan man says he's had enough of all those expensive snacks at the movie theater. In fact, he's taking his local AMC theater to court in hopes of lowering prices statewide. David, what do you say?
Well, you know, movie attendance has declined. It's expensive. I think he should get on one of these loyalty programs. I know when I go to AMC theaters, they upgrade me on popcorn, makes me feel a little bit better, rather than suing.
I just think that's... Yu-Dee, are you part of this program, too? I didn't even know about it.
I know, seriously. No, I'm part of a different program. Well, first of all, when I first hear about this, it's kind of ridiculous. Why don't you let the free market takes over supply demand? On second thought, that I'm realizing, wait a minute, if you let these movie theater owners get together with Obama, he might have a, I guess, cinema bomber where he's going to make us have to go to the theaters and have to go buy the popcorns, and it's going to be subsidized by the so-called tax. And lastly, if all else fails, if they use the time and tradition honored gouging the price, we could always use the time and tradition honored sneaking in the snacks.
Amen to that. Good job, Yu-Dee. You know, maybe they're going to bring in that same woman who got rid of the kids' lunch into the movie theaters and force us not to bring in our own stuff. What do you say?
No, well, I just have to say, nobody had a gun to this person's head and making them eat this stuff. Hey, you don't want to pay the price, you go eat before, you go after. You don't need to stuff your face with popcorn and good and plenties while you're watching a movie.
That's the best
and
part
like
of
you said, you can certainly bring it in. That's how those business owners make money, is through that concession, and that keeps the prices lower. For me, I just wait until it comes on the pay-per-view at home, and I watch it at home. And then I can eat my own popcorn and drink my own soda.
I like the affinity program. I didn't even know about it. That's like something brand new to me. I'll have to check it out. All right, Yu-Dee, David, and Susan, great job, guys. Really appreciate your help today. Thank you so much. Okay, also